From the Skyview Motorsports Desk, I'm Roy J. Akers. I'm with NASCAR insider Steve Schweitzer of the Velasco Press, Jerry Jordan of Kicking the Tires. All three of us were all at the Michigan International Speedway track. It was a win for no other reason than the stands were full because the weather was great. And these stands would have been full the last 5 years if the weather would have been better in August than it was, on Sunday here in June. What do you fellas think?
Steve, you go ahead because I was here for last year too.
I'll tell you, smart move for them to move that race to June. I talked with Joe Fowler, the track president, about it a little bit. He was really excited about it. Everybody that I talked to at NASCAR thought that it was a good move for the calendar. And hey, they even got a bonus. They got in on the qualifications for the in-season tournament. The seeding is going on currently. It started at Michigan, carried through to Mexico City, and then also to Pocono, and then the tournament starts at Atlanta. So, it was a great event. And the racing was good, which is, always a plus.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and the last year when I was here, when I was there for the race, it was pouring down rain on Sunday. There was no way they were going to get in. Had to come back, and they put on a show. They got it done last year. This year, they put on a show, and it was phenomenal. So I think we need to keep the date, but we also, whatever the mixture was, whatever tweaks that either whether it's Goodyear or the track or the conditioning or what, I think the prep made this race really, really good for the fans on TV and in the grandstands.
Yeah, the 2 and 3 wide racing was excellent. I thought the racing was really good all day. You saw a good mixture of drivers lead the race, from Chris Buescher winning the first stage. Was it William Byron that won the second with Carson Hocevar on his heels? And, Byron, gentlemen, as you know, he led a 98 of 200 laps on the day. Hocevar had 32. But in the end, the pit crew chief for Denny Hamlin, Chris Gayle, I asked him a rhetorical and obvious question. Did you guys run the third stage, the final laps, trying to put your competitors out of business? Chris, tell us the real skinny on that.
Byron and Holsevar?
For sure, right? There's two outcomes, right? You're going to push from the beginning if you know your own fuel. Once you catch them, they either are going to decide they're going to let you go because they need to save fuel enough to make it. Okay, well, then you're in the lead. And even if we were, I thought we were good on fuel, but if we'd gotten the lead earlier, we would have just maintained the gap and saved fuel at that point. Or you're going to push, they're not going to give you the lead, and then you're going to run them out, right? So either way works out in your favor. You never know if their numbers are fully right. And if they're, you think you're hearing them, so you know what they're telling them and how short they think they are. But, we went into turn one after the race. He did a burnout, went down to 3 and 4 and did a burnout, I think. So we probably had another lap and a quarter of more fuel than we thought we did. And so when you're kind of figuring all that, maybe these guys can go a little further than they're saying. So you're always worried about that.
Gentlemen, Chris Gayle said that they were indeed racing to get those guys out of fuel and kind of steal the race away. What did you think about all that? Because I love the strategy.
Well, I think that I don't know if you saw it or not, but they had the fuel can actually hang up in the car.
Yeah.
And the front tire changer is the last bastion of hope. And he grabs it and yanks it out before Denny gets a penalty, because that would have cost him the race. So, whatever their strategy was, if that was part of it, to get a few extra drops of fuel in there, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. It worked, and Denny got the win. And I love the interaction with Denny behind, after the race, goes up there and says, "I beat your favorite driver." Which one? All of them. Well, the truth is, he did. He beat everybody's favorite driver, except for the fact that everyone in that, well, that's not everyone, but most of the people in that grandstand, they were cheering for Denny. I didn't hear a lot of boos about Denny Hamlin winning that race. I heard a lot of cheers.
Steve,
I was really impressed with the run of Chris Buescher. Man, he had a great day. good to see him up there competitive again. I think, no reason why he can't get into the playoffs. I think there's probably a win in the future here. Like you said, he's a good road racer, maybe this weekend. But it was it was just a great race. Like you said, Roy, the 2, 3, 4 wide racing was spectacular.
Yeah, it was. I liked everything all the way around. What I also like too, Jerry and Steve, is that RFK Racing, for the first time since July 2016, had 3 cars, 3 machines, 3 drivers, all finish in the top 10. And that's got to feel good for everybody, especially Brad Keselowski, who's we got to see some of these older guys like Busch and Keselowski get back in the winner's circle, because NASCAR's a better place when they're winning at least once in a while.
Well, look, I mean, when Brad went in there and bought part of Roush Fenway Racing, made it Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing, and turned it to RFK, he knew that this was an investment. This was something that would take time to get those cars back up to speed, literally back up to speed, and they're getting there. We've seen some brilliance from Buescher. He's done well. He's won some races. Brad's won some races, but getting them all on the same page, that is key. That is huge. And this is whether they admit it or not, I think from an outsider's viewpoint, I think it was a great weekend for RFK.
We have Denny Hamlin on the line. Denny, right after the race, he talked to all of us, and he obviously was very excited to earn his 57th career victory. Denny, do you feel as though it was a little bit of luck? You feel like Jerry was right, and that gas can, if you'd have gotten a penalty, you'd have been out of it, but you feel like you had a little bit of luck on Denny Hamlin's side?
Well, I mean, truthfully, I thought our chances of winning were pretty much dashed when we had a little slower stop on the last one. I think I restarted around 12th on that last restart, and then just picked them off one by one. I mean, I just tried my best. That was not the best my car was handling on that last run, so I thought we were going to be a little limited by traffic. And, the way our car was, we had some damage on the right side of our car from the pit road incident on that last stop. So things were not optimized, to say the least. And but we just were very, beneficial of some guys running, less than 100% up front until we got there. Then they raced 100%, but it just worked over the guys one by one. Just tried to give them so many different looks to surprise them entering the corner, to try to, everyone's trying to predict where you're going to run, and with these mirrors in the cars nowadays, they can just kind of, even if they guess wrong, they can just switch lanes in the middle of the racetrack and really hold you back. But, I just got close enough to Byron. I saw the part of the racetrack where he was most vulnerable. And so I just started setting up, how can I get as close as I can to him at that vulnerable spot of the track, and then use aerodynamics to my advantage versus his. And that allowed me to get up beside him, surprise him into turn 1 down on the bottom, and get him off the bottom and go side by side and take the lead.
Gentlemen, Denny talked about the luck. He felt like he didn't think he had a chance. He wasn't sure, but they were not going to take no for an answer, and he knocked in the door and knocked the leaders out of the way.
You make your own luck some days.
Well, he's had enough bad luck that this is and look, it was a rough week for Denny Hamlin. Come on, guys. I mean, the biggest his group has been tearing it up in court with NASCAR on this federal case. I just want to bring that up real quick, And then they had this ruling come out this past week on an injunction, and the injunctions were all thrown out. So this is just this is the first loss that these guys have had so far. That it's a big loss though. So we'll see how it plays out, what their next role is. My understanding is they can either appeal to the 15 panel full judge of the Fourth Circuit, or they can go to the U.S. Supreme Court, or they could just do nothing and go to the court and let it go to trial in December. But it was a rough week for Denny. So coming out of there with a win, Andy's fixing to have a son this weekend. He may not even be here. We don't know. He may not even be here in Mexico this weekend because his fiance Jordan Fish is pregnant with their son, their third child, and he said, "Look, it's her call. I need to be there with her for our child to be born." That's big of him.
Yeah, he said he had a deadline. I don't know if it was. I think it's tomorrow, and if she hasn't had the baby yet, he's leaving back for the States if he's even left here at all. We're going to go ahead and take a real quick 30, and then we have the legendary Leonard Wood. I'll be talking to him at the trailer, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this up because it's fiesta time there for Jerry. We'll do that in 30.
Daddy, I'm sorry, but I beat your favorite driver, folks. All of them.
Our family stories are your family stories, except with more confetti.
Relive racing history with a walk-along Glory Road, or try your hand at our fan-favorite racing simulator or pit crew challenge.
Let's reflect on the past couple of weeks. You look back at Charlotte.
With stories and artifacts from the legends who shaped the sport in the Hall of Honor and Heritage Speedway.
Visit the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte for the ultimate outing. NASCAR Hall of Fame, this is our sport. This is our house.
Well, gentlemen, we're about ready to wrap this show up. I think we all agree that Michigan was awesome. I wish they were on the schedule a second time, but that's a conversation for another day. I did talk to Brian May, the track president at Pocono today. He gives me his answers and all that. Also, to let you guys know, I did get some video of Denny's scrum that he did with Jerry, myself. I'm not sure if you were there, Steve, but he talked about all things about the lawsuit and everything else the press answered. All I did was hold the camera up high because I wasn't, everybody was in on Denny that day. Leonard Wood, 75th anniversary of your team. Lots of great things are happening. You have, I know that NASCAR.com is doing a production with you this summer. You're going to talk about some great moments and a whole lot more. Leonard, we got a few questions for you. I do that with you trackside. Len Wood, what are the 75th anniversary with NASCAR this particular year? What an anniversary for you guys.
Yes, it is. We came off of that win, our 100th win with Harrison Burton back at Daytona last year in August, and it kind of set the tone for this year. And we won pretty much right off the bat with Josh Berry for 101. But like I said, with our 75th year, our dad started this in 1950, so we're proud to still be a part of NASCAR.
I can tell you I saw several of the Wood Brothers wins back in the 1970s with David Pearson. That's what got me hooked on NASCAR. Now I'm doing media, you doing ownership, and man, you've had a lot of great people come through your program over the years. That is just incredible. With all the history. As far as the 75th, is there one moment that really sticks out for you guys?
The 100th win was big. When we won with Blaney in Pocono in 2017, everybody thought the next one would be right around the corner. This is a hard business. It's hard to win these races, and so it took like 7 years to get there, but we finally won it. And then again, Josh winning back in Vegas. That's the first time since 1987 we won back-to-back years.
Yeah.
So that's pretty special too.
Yeah. I talked to Josh yesterday when he came in for media availability, and he just says how awesome it is working for you guys. And what is it like having Josh, bringing him in for this particular season and moving forward? I mean, I was there at Vegas. Awesome. And anyway, what is it like having Josh as a driver? What kind of tributes does he bring?
So Josh is 34 years old, but he's still kind of in his second full year. So he's a bit of a rookie, but it doesn't show up like that. I mean, we raced, the first race of the year for us was at Clash at Bowman Grange Stadium. And when we walked away, we left that night, we knew we had a good driver.
Yeah.
We've had several mistakes on pit road and in the pit stops, but we get that stuff cleaned up by time for the playoffs, and then we should be good to go.
Yeah. Take a look at Michigan International Speedway, home of the manufacturers. You get these questions every time, but what does it mean to you guys to come back to this particular track in particular?
Well, obviously, winning that Heritage Cup trophy for Edsel would be nice. I think Ford's have won it a lot. I don't think they won it last year, but they won it a lot. And so, this is Ford's home racetrack. And so for us, we're sponsored by Motorcraft, Wood Lane, Ford Performance. So it's very important that we run well here. We qualified 7th, so we've got a good pit stall, so we should be good today.
Final question. You're for your 75th anniversary, amongst everything you're doing some like a video, like I don't know if it's a podcast or what, for with NASCAR.com. What does that entail, and what are we going to learn about you guys? I imagine, because we want people to tune in.
I don't know about the podcast part, but we've got doing a Hall of Fame exhibit at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte. It started on May 22nd. It'll run for a year. It's got 5 cars. It's got several mini replica stuff, that half-scale replicas that Uncle Leonard fixed. And we've got pictures and trophies from 8 decades and shirts. We've been working with NASCAR on that a lot.
Yeah, I meant to ask you on that, because I did call down there when you were in Charlotte. But we definitely want to have some video set, because we like to show people what they can see as a teaser to go in and see the whole Hall of Fame. Of course, your team is in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. It is you've had an extraordinary career, and we definitely want people to check out the Hall of Fame. Gentlemen, we are basically done with this particular Zoomcast. We broke down MIS. Jerry, I tell you what, are you going to have the worm in the bottle of tequila or what?
Oh, hell, no, absolutely not. No, I drink Patron and other tequilas that do not have worms in them. I do not drink mezcal. So there's but I'm really not that big of a drinker. I'm kind of a red wine guy myself. So just I'm going to get out of here and go find Matt Weaver and go to the hotel and then go have some fun.
Last comment, Steve.
Hey, have a good time, Jerry. Looking forward to talking with you when you get back. I want to hear the whole experience.
Yeah,
Well,
we want.
Weaver and I may have some videos coming out. We may do a Facebook Live or something, or a YouTube Live at some point throughout the weekend as well.
Well, if we're invited in a couple of weeks, if we get some of those clips, maybe we can have you back. You can talk a little bit about those times, and we'll put them up there. You can describe them. You can go all Jerry Jordan on us if you want. Would that be okay with you?
That'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be happy to help.
Yeah, well, we'd love to have you on once in a while, because it's obvious you're in. No NASCAR drivers have ever given me their phone number, so anything I say about them would only be talking to them in a scrum or secondhand information. Jerry is the bottom line. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Roy.
Enjoy Mexico City, Steve. We'll talk to you at the LPGA event this week, and then we're gonna move it on. Thanks, everybody. Have a great.
Jerry, you going to Pocono?
No, I'm off after this until Chicago.
Oh, until Chicago. Oh, you won't be at Atlanta either then.
No, I don't think so.
Daddy, I'm sorry, but I beat your favorite driver, folks.
I gotta ask, like Marty did, who's that?
All of them.